Hello everyone, this is Father Bill. We're here at St. Callistus, and we want to talk about our Saint of the Week, which is St. Thomas the Apostle. And you may know that St. Callistus started out as St. Thomas. He was our first patron. So I would guess that he's still watching over us and keeping a good eye on all the people of St. Callistus and even maybe Cain, along with St. Callistus. What are some of the incidents we have from St. Thomas the Apostle? Well, we know in the scriptures there's not a lot of detail about most of the apostles. There's certain incidents, then you kind of have to look at those incidents and kind of figure out, oh, so it was this kind of personality, he was this kind of person. So Thomas, we'll go first to, I believe it's chapter 11 in the Gospel of John. And what happened was Lazarus was very sick, and Jesus was good buddies with Lazarus, his two sisters, Martha and Mary. They lived a little ways outside of Jerusalem. Jesus was up north somewhere, and they sent word he's really sick. He didn't go right away. And then the apostles are wondering, why doesn't he go down there right now and heal him? Then they get word Lazarus died. And so Jesus says, this is for God's glory. You'll see what's going to happen, something like that. And what's Thomas say? He says, well, and one of the apostles says, there's a whole bunch of people down there ready to kill you. I mean, they're pretty hostile down there by Jerusalem at this point in Jesus' ministry. And Thomas says, well, let's go along and die with them. So sounds like a pretty tough guy. Next thing we have from him is at the Last Supper. And they're talking about what's going to happen. Jesus giving his Last Supper discourse, I believe. And Jesus says, where I'm going, you know the way. And Thomas says, Lord, we don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? And Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. So Thomas elicited that response from Jesus that we can all hold on to. He's the way, the truth, and the life. And then, of course, we have the incident after Jesus rises. He rises, and it looks like it's the evening of that Easter Sunday, the first Easter Sunday, and Jesus appears to all the apostles, but Thomas isn't there. And he shows them, it's really him. He's risen. He says, peace be with you. It's wonderful. And then Thomas comes back a little bit later, and they say, we saw the risen Lord. He's alive. Thomas is like, I don't believe it. He's, how they say people from Missouri, they have to see it to believe it. That he's that kind of person too. He says, I'm not going to believe. Maybe he felt a little bit disrespected because he wasn't there. Jesus did it when he wasn't there, showed up. But at any rate, he says, I won't believe it unless I put my hand in his side, touch his wounds, then I'll believe it. Well, the next Sunday, they're there again. Jesus comes back, and Thomas is there this time. And Jesus says, Thomas, here, see my wounds. See this really high. And Thomas goes from, the week before he was very much a doubting Thomas to profession of faith, using the words from the Old Testament, Hebrew or Greek, that are words you say about God. So we forget that he makes this great leap of faith. He says, my Lord and my God. So he's proclaiming Jesus' divinity, and he has faith. So those are three important instances that Thomas shows up in the gospel. What is he patron of? Well, he's patron of India, Sri Lanka, a few places out there, because that's where the legend is, or the stories, the tradition is, that's where he went. The apostles went all over the place to preach the gospel. He went to India, and we believe he died there. He's also patron of architects, not sure why, and he's watching over our parish also. What else is he patron of? He's patron of Pakistan also, and theologians. So he's patron of a couple of things like this. But he's a great saint, and we know that our church is founded on the apostles. So the 12 apostles are like the 12 tribes of Israel. It's like the New Testament version of the 12 tribes that, got the Israelites going. They had the 12 tribes. In the New Testament, we get the 12 apostles. And so he's one of those 12. Very important. And this is what the church is founded. And that's why we say our faith is apostolic. We say one, holy, Catholic, and apostolic. So we thank God we had one of the apostles watching over our parish in its very inception. So God bless you, and we ask you to ask St. Thomas to intercede for you if you have any special needs. So God bless, take care.